In today's episode of Doodling in SolidWorks, let's take a look at how to do this design. And at the beginning of the thread on the SolidWorks forum, we're giving this view and this view. And so here is an attempt to do the original sketches. And notice that there are no black lines. Maybe there's a black line under there, I can't tell. But you should always fully define your first line or rectangle or circle or arc that you create. And then always look for symmetry as well. And so I see in this original design, the origin is placed up here, but there is a lot of symmetry between left and right side, and there's also symmetry between top and bottom. So we have two directions of symmetry in this design, so it would make sense to me to put the origin at this location right here. That will really play dividends later on in more complex problems, particularly in assemblies, and particularly in assemblies with motion analysis, where you can use the origin planes, or if you create origin axes, to define a location of geometry which is absolute robust, referred to as the Born technique, base orphan reference node. So let's look at how to set this up. So I'm going to start a new sketch on the top plane, and I said I'm going to use symmetry about the origin. So I'm going to draw a midpoint line from the origin, and I'm going to come over here and I'll put in a distance of 4.5 as that length. And let's go ahead and dimension that. So let's dimension it from here to here as 4.5. That line turns black. It's all fully defined. I'll also draw a midpoint line going from the origin going up. And again, we have symmetry, so we can dimension from the origin up to this point as 2 inches. And I forgot to mention back at the beginning of the video, you should stop here, stop the video and see if you can reproduce this on your own in a logical and efficient technique, and then restart the video and see how I'm going to do this. So I have the 2 inches from here to here. I have the 4.5 inches from here to here. I'm going to put in this line up here, and we'll continue. Now look at this. If this arc is tangent to this line, which we can assume, then this distance from here to here is 2. So we can either dimension this line length from here to here, or we can dimension the center of the arc. And so I'm going to then change these two lines to construction. So I'll get out of the dimension command, and I'll crossing windows, select those, change those to construction. And then I'm going to draw a midpoint line up here. So again, I'll do a midpoint line, and I'll come over, and remember I said that I could, oops, I don't want that to be construction. I said that I could dimension this from here to here already, but we'll do it the same way it was on the original in that respect, in that I will do a tangent arc, and I'll do that tangent arc from here, and then there's going to be another tangent arc coming off of that arc, and that will come around like that. And so we'll go ahead and put in the dimensions for that. And so the dimension from here over to here was 2 inches, and then there is a 30-degree from the center of this arc to the horizontal. So let's do a construction line from the center of this arc over to the center of that arc, and then we'll put in the dimensions. So it is 30 degrees from here to here. And so we'll go ahead and put in that 30, and then the radius of this arc is 1.25, and notice that turns black, and then the radius of this arc is 0.75. Now on the original, this was given as a diameter. When I have less than a full circle, I prefer to dimension it as a radius rather than a diameter. If you have trouble doing the math in your head, I can have SolidWorks do it for me. So I could say this is equal to 1.5 divided by 2, and SolidWorks will do that math for me. And notice it puts the summation symbol there, letting me know that I've done a calculation there. And if I ever want to go back and see where did that number come from, I can go back and see the equation that was used to create that. Notice all of this geometry so far is black, no blue geometry except for the end of this arc right here. Now we could use dynamic mirror entities and create both sides of this at once, but for beginners that's probably a little bit complex to do, so I'm just going to do this and then mirror it myself. So I'm going to draw a line. I'll come down to about here, move my mouse away, come back to it, it changes to the arc command, and I'll put an arc about like that. And I'm going to mirror this stuff to the other side. Now I see a tangent here, but I don't see a tangent up here, so I'll crossing window select those two. I'll add that tangent relation, and then this point right here should be at this point down here, so I'm going to drag that down here, and I might have some trouble dropping it, but I'll try to drop it on that point. And if I have trouble getting it, I'll just select both of those with the control key, and I will try to merge those together. Okay, so now those 2 points are merged together, and then I will continue on putting additional dimensions or relations. The radius of this arc is also 0.75. Now we could make this equal or dimension it again. If there's a chance that we may change the size of that, it's probably best to put in a dimension. But if we always know that those are going to be equivalent, then we could just make these two arcs equal. I'm now going to mirror much of this geometry about this line, and so I'll do mirror entities, and I'm going to select this line, this arc, this arc, this line, and I don't want that arc, and then I'll mirror that about this line, and I got the wrong one there. I meant to click down here, so I'll clear that selection or delete that selection, and I'll come down here and make sure I get that highlighted, and I'll click down here, I'll say OK to that, and that's fully constrained. Now I need to make sure that these 2 points are tied together, so I will control select these 2 points, and I'll merge those together. Alright, so now I've got everything on this side done. I'll mirror the stuff over to the other side, and so I'll do mirror entities again, and I'll select this arc, this line, this arc, this line, this arc, and this arc, and I will mirror about this line. We'll say OK to that, and it's all fully defined. Now you might want to, I've turned off shaded sketch contours. You might want to turn that on and make sure that it is in fact fully enclosed, that there aren't any gaps. Remember that little gap that we had there originally on that arc? I had to close that gap. I prefer to leave this off, but just for beginner use you might turn that on. And I tend to turn off the visibility of these relations too. I know after you become familiar with SolidWorks, you know what relations it's putting onto your geometry, and if you ever want to check, you can just click on the geometry and it'll show you the relations that are on that geometry. Alright, I'm finished with this sketch, so I will click Finish Sketch. And then using the Born technique, where I only create sketches on the top, front, or right side plane, I'll do a new sketch on the right side plane, and I'm going to then do a slot, and so I'll select a 3-point arc slot. My first point will be the end of this line, my second point will be out here in space someplace, my third point will be about like that, and then I want to come out with some width to that slot. Now let's look at this from the right side view. It'll be easier to see. And so then we want to dimension this arc, and because this is not a full circle, I'm going to dimension it as a radius. And so the original design was given as a diameter of 0.4, the radius 0.2, and so that arc turns black. The distance from the origin down vertically 1.5. In the original drawing that was put over here, so I like to, so that you can follow along with what I'm doing, I like to put the dimensions in the same location. And so then this 4 inches was given a diameter, the center from here, be careful, from here over to here, and so I'll do that as 2 inches instead of the 4 inches. And so the center of this arc should be horizontal, and then 2 inches from here over to the edge, not to the center here, going by the drawing. Alright, so I need to get this point up, or this point down, so that I'm in the dimension command. I need to escape, get out of the dimension command. So the center of this arc should be horizontal with the origin, and so I will set that to be horizontal, and then I will dimension that distance and do it from here. The original drawing didn't go from here, it went from here over to here, and I'll put that in as 2 inches. For some reason they did that as a diameter of 4. I'm not sure why. Notice it turns black. It's all fully defined, and so we're ready to sweep our geometry. And so I'll go into the features. I'll do a swept boss base. I need to select the profile, so I put my mouse over here to see what it wants. It wants the profile. I'll select this as my profile, and then it asks me to select the path. I'll select this as the path. It goes all the way around that path. I have a closed path. I'll say OK to that, and so there is our geometry.